Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to my podcast, my live stream, my Monday Night Raw review. This is Jacob Cast 2024. We're going to talk about WWE Monday Night Raw, August 4th, 2025, the Summerslam Fallout. We're going to go through the review. I just want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for all support. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel. My channel is sponsored by my favorite podcasters, YouTubers like Fightful Pro Wrestling, Good My Work Commentary, JD from New York, Salamat the Sound Off, Denise Salcedo, Just Alex, Joe Cronin, Post Wrestling, and other podcasters I know of. Now I'm going to do this live stream. It's going to be like an hour and 30 minutes long. We're going to talk about Monday Night Raw. We might talk a little bit about SummerSlam and what I thought of the pay-per-view. I already talked about it. I did my live stream last night. I talked about night 1 and night 2. How SummerSlam was an okay show. It was decent. I think I gave it like 50-50, like 3 out of them. I think I'd give it 3 out of 3. Like there was I thought like night 2, there were only 4 matches that were good, and the other 2 sucked. And night 1, 3 matches were good, and I think 3 were not that good. It has a couple of moments, a couple of spots. Now you would think that I'm probably gonna do Monday Night Raw. I probably should start playing Fortnite while I do this review, especially when I got friends and I got cousins. Shout out to my friends and cousins, Bryson, cousin KK. If you're out there, make sure you watch my podcast, subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this. If y'all want to see more. Now, the show's not over yet. We still got Monday Night Raw on, so hold on a second. We still got Monday Night Raw on. It's almost over. I think we're at the main event. I want you guys to hear the audio. I want y'all to hear the audio of Monday Night Raw. So let me just see if y'all can hear it. Let me know you can hear the audio of Monday Night Raw. We're at the main event, LA Knight versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight title. Let me know y'all can hear it. It's been like 2 hours and 30 minutes. I think we're close to this match ending. Oh, wait, hold on.
Was trying to get way to his feet. It looked like he went low on Knight for a momentarily. Monitors out here.
Alright, hold on.
Ready for the World Heavyweight Champ. And out with the exposed top floor.
Oh, wait. Oh. Damn, can y'all hear that? Can y'all hear it? Damn. Oh, LA Knight didn't like that. Punk caught LA Knight. Oh, damn. That was a nasty spear. Damn. So I get the heel, they beat up. That it? The show's over? Roman Reigns comes out. Reigns is not done with Rollins. Reigns is not done. Man, this ball going crazy. He's staring down Seth Rollins.
betrayal at WrestleMania. Roman Reigns gonna get his hands on Rollins.
Reigns and Rollins have stayed out. Rollins getting out of the ring. Is that how the show gonna end? Damn, he beating up both of them.
Roman never saw it coming.
Now a chance for Jey Uso.
And now Rollins and Reed.
Man, it's a crazy brawl.
Everything in their path.
Hey, where's Jey Uso? Isn't that weird? There's no Jey Uso.
Reigns not done yet. Somebody gotta get help out of here. Somebody's gotta get Reigns out of the ring. He's a sitting duck for another shoot on me. Who the hell's gonna stop Godzilla? And he's not done yet. General Manager Pierce leading the troops out here to the ring to prevent an unmitigated disaster. Shut up me again! To prevent what? To prevent what the damage is done. Reigns may have busted inside.
How come you see Jey Uso?
Bronson Reed once said, tsunamis destroy islands.
Damn, this is crazy.
The tribal thief has once again stolen the speakers from Roman Reigns. Absolute power.
You know, the way it looks like that's how Monday Night Raw gonna end. With Seth Rollins, his new group, his new faction that still doesn't have a name. I'm just gonna call it the Paul Heyman Alliance or the Seth Riders. But they stood tall. They beat down Punk, Knight, and Reigns. There was no Jey Uso. I guess they wanted to be 3-on-3, because 4-on-3 wouldn't be fair. And you gotta have Seth fast and look strong, except the world champion. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed lost to Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. Bronson Reed was pinned, so they have to look strong. And once again, Bronson Reed took the shoes away from Roman Reigns, so pretty sure the feud gonna continue. Now who is Rollins gonna wrestle? Is he gonna wrestle Punk or Reigns? How you gonna justify that? I don't think he could wrestle LA Knight, or he might wrestle Punk again. Maybe we can get Reigns and Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed. I think that will be my look at going into Clash in Paris if Reigns is gonna be on that show, or if they're gonna wait till Crown Jewels. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, we still got Roman Reigns on TV. But honestly, the way how this show ended with the heel going over, it just brings me flashback of how they did the same thing with the Bloodline when there were Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman and the Usos always stand tall. And based on what we're seeing on SmackDown with Solo Sikoa and his Bloodline, the MRTs, how they always stand tall when they brawl with Jacob Fatu and Jimmy Uso. You know, it's like the same shit. It's like they can't come with any creative way how to end the show. Now, granted, Seth, his faction is a little bit different because people care about this faction. People don't care about Solo and the Bloodline on SmackDown because same shit. And people don't with the Bloodline. But here with Seth Rollins, you gotta keep them both as strong as possible, especially Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. The way how they've been both so dominant. even though they lost at SummerSlam. But they need to be booked strongly. It looks like the show's over. Yeah, the show's over. Alright. Monday Night Raw is over. That's how they're gonna end the show. Raw is now over. Alright. Monday Night Raw is now over. Alright. Okay. So yeah, so Monday Night Raw, I thought it was a decent show. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about Monday Night Raw. Now let me go into some of the matches on this show. Now the show opened up with, wait, Brock wasn't on the show, was he? If he was, I didn't see Brock Lesnar. He didn't come out with a cowboy hat. Anyway, let's get into Monday Night Raw. The show opened up with LA Knight interrupts Seth Rollins and challenged him to a world title. LA Knight wants a title shot because he beat Seth Rollins at Saturday Night Main Event a couple weeks ago. So that was the opening, by the way. I think the opening segment with Rollins and his new group and LA Knight confronts him. That lasted 20 minutes, almost 20 minutes. Now, Adam Pearce made the match official for the main event. You guys saw it. Y'all heard it. Rollins and Knight were decent. It was whatever. Until the interference came with Punk. And then when Reigns came out, they tried to stand tall against Seth Newfashion, but they got taken out. There was no Jey Uso. Because they're trying to make Seth group more dominant and more incredible. Alright, now let's get into the other things that happened on Monday Night Raw. We had another rematch with Sheamus and Rusev. Pretty good match again. The match was an epic battle, but it led to no winner. Because it's the same shit. Another screwy finish. I think people are just sick and tired of seeing rematches with Sheamus and Rusev. How many times are we going to get this match? These two have great chemistry. They're great wrestlers. They put on bangers, but another screwy finish. Because I guess they're trying to protect both guys, but you got to come up with a decisive winner. And you got to move them on to something else. Sheamus and Rusev are two good guys, by the way. We should be protected and be in big programs or go after titles. So, they didn't announce next week that we're going to get this match again. They announced that we're going to get Sami Zayn and Rusev next week in Sami's home country, which is Montreal, Canada. They also announced that Naomi's going to defend her championship against Io Sky next week on Raw. So that's what it looks like that we're going to probably be getting. And I'm okay with that. Now let's see what else can we talk about. We did get Penta versus Grayson Waller. Penta takes down Grayson Waller in a very good match. Thought the match was very good. No Austin Theory. Austin Theory must be still injured then. Yeah, so alright. Now, what else happened on Monday Night Raw? Penta beat Grayson Waller. We got this segment with Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, the new tag team champion. Judgment Day demands a rematch. Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez won a rematch, and they got it. They had a match. It was decent and pretty good. Not good as SummerSlam, but match was fine. Charlotte and Alexa, they retain their tag team titles. We got a backstage 7 with Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. Io Sky informed Rhea she will never beat her. They're still teasing the potential match between those two. Charlotte and Lesnar defend the titles against Judgment Day. They did retain. We had a backstage segment with Sheamus and Rusev continue fighting backstage. I don't know when they're gonna get the rematch, but they will build to it. Alright, hold on. We also got a backstage segment with Lyra and Bayley. Lyra tears into Bayley backstage. Alright. Gotta go this way. Alright, hold on. Alright, hold on. We got another match here. More Grande Americanos emerge. I think we had Dragon Lee and Dominic Mysterio. Now we know that Ludwig Kaiser playing as Grande Americano. There's another Grande Americano. Whether it's Chad Gable or that's someone else. Obviously Dominic got the win here with the help of Grande Americano. So that feud still going to continue. They're still telling that story. Now we had a pretty good segment with Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella is back in the ring wrestling. She'll be on TV more frequently. It looks like she's gonna challenge Becky Lynch for the Women's IC Championship. So that match is probably gonna happen at Clash in Paris. Clearly they're setting that up because Becky's out challenger. She beat Lyra. She's not gonna feud with Bayley, and they already done it. So Nikki Bella steps up to Becky Lynch. And we also had a segment, Becky Lynch challenges Maxine Dupree. That's a waste of time. Maxine's not good. She's not over. No one cares. She hasn't done anything on the main roster. I'm pretty sure that Nikki Bella is the bigger opponent. She's also a star. And you want to call her a legend? Sure. Even though we can't see Nikki Bella in the ring because he's older. And also obviously she's a part-timer. We also had Natalya backstage. We haven't seen Natalya. It's been a while since she was in the ring. But she was backstage with Maxine and Akira Tozawa. Alright. Now let's go into the other podcasters. I'm gonna let them in the super chat. Alright. Now let's talk about the other podcasters. God damn it! I'm getting shot at. I'm trying to do my podcast. I'm trying to be in my commentary. Damn it! This is gonna get annoying. I'm very sorry for this. Oh, they shot my tire. I'm not trying to kill them. I'm trying to just lay low. I'm trying to hide. I'll kill someone later. I'm gonna try and get the high ground. Oh, oops. Oh. I should have paid attention to a damn map. Alright, hold on. Hold on a second. I'm very sorry. God damn it.
What's up, y'all? It's Tyrese Halliburton here on the show.
Alright, here's Sean Westaf for Fightful Pro Wrestling.
You go and do the presidential fitness gimmick next to a guy who is under fire right now. Can
you guys hear my desktop? Probably not. Okay.
We got Argo, another podcaster.
But
We got
came
No
out
DQ.
there, made the match official, and it was a solid tag team match here, but standard Raw tag team match. Alexa ended up being sent into the barricade, and then eventually she was able to tag out, and Charlotte came in there, but Judgment Day regained the upper hand, and then Alexa saved Charlotte, tagged back in, things had broken down, and then Alexa got the win, pinning Roxanne with the sister Abigail. So they got the rematch out of the way. Alexa and Charlotte win. Don't know where this goes from here for Judgment Day, but they lost the rematch, and I presume that Charlotte and Alexa will move on to another tag.
Alright, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second.
That felt like more of the ongoing storyline throughout the night, and I would have just liked a bit more feeling of like presence of Seth Rollins and his new group throughout the show as it went on. But again, that's
it could have been
a minor
something.
critique.
It could have been as something as simple of maybe them backstage talking about how Braun and Braun Breaker are both banned from ringside in the main event. So it really could have been something simple, just to kind of keep the thread of the show instead of, like you said, just having the bookends for both of them. But I'm thinking that they probably found, because they did have a lot of backstage segments today with a lot of different parties, matches. Like in the first 44 minutes, they had 3 backstage segments, or not all were backstage, but they had 3 moments where they had to make matches for later on in the show in like the first 44 minutes of the show. So I feel like they maybe thought, okay, well, we kind of got a lot already. I think for me, if I had any critique, I was actually, maybe not even a critique, but I was more surprised that Seth Rollins didn't gloat to everybody about having tricked everyone. That was something that really wasn't necessarily talked about as much as I thought it would have been in the promo. So that was the one note that I had there. I know you mentioned the ending, not really liking it ending in a DQ. I was okay with it because here's the thing, I've gotten to the point where it's been weird, right, with LA Knight, where he's the guy, but he like, in terms of like people like him, but it really hasn't gone anywhere with LA Knight, and him winning in that weird way at Saturday night's main event. All right, still a win. It was weird, but he still won, right? And then this way, it kind of felt like they don't want to necessarily pin LA Knight. Does that make sense? But at the same time, Seth Rollins is the world heavyweight champion, so if anyone's going to pin you, it might as well be the world heavyweight champion. But I also feel that this kind of connected nicely, only because, like I said, CM Punk did technically save LA Knight's life there. Someone curb stomps anybody on a concrete, we're probably going to be dead after that. So technically, he saved his life. And we have a couple of people here that are mentioning how this might be starting to shape up a possible War Games team down the line. I know we're still a little bits away, but, you know, we got time to get there. But what we had at the end of it was CM Punk having LA Knight, and then we also had Roman Reigns come out and also go after, take out Bronson, take out Braun, and try to go after Seth Rollins, but of course Seth Rollins, you know, kind of taking the chicken shit way out. But in the end, it all turned into like a massive melee where Roman Reigns was taken out by the Vision. So that's where we're at on that. Do you kind of see this as a possibility of where we're starting to head over for possible War Games, or do you think we're thinking too far in advance?
I think we might be looking too far in advance, just in the sense of, like, you know, as soon as the clock hits November, then it's like, all right, gang warfare time. Everybody grab a team. It's time for War Games. It would surprise me if it felt quite as organic, you know, this time around. You know, in various years, there are varying degrees of how far in advance it feels like they plan out the War Games stuff. Last year was maybe a better example than most with the dual bloodline deal. But as far as this one goes, I wouldn't be surprised by any means if you have the top heel faction being one of the ones that's going to be in the mix for War Games. I think that's a pretty safe bet, all things considered. I liked Roman Reigns getting involved in this. I think the overall climactic angle of tonight's show was definitely the focal point times. It was just kind of a bunch of matches. Not a lot of important fallout of SummerSlam. There were a couple things that we'll get to, of course, but this felt like the biggest thing. And again, maybe I just wanted the world title scene to kind of play throughout the show a little bit as I was watching some of the other matches and not really being that invested in them. But saving CM Punk for the run-in in the main event meant that we didn't get like a cool CM Punk promo on this show for something kind of in the middle of the show to be like one of the big, moments of the night after SummerSlam. I'm sure that's now being saved for like next week. I'm sure I'll cut a promo on next week's show, and this is just me going like, but I wanted it now. The show that I'm watching right now.
I think we always want CM Punk promos.
Naturally, it's hard to make a show worse with one, but that was just kind of my feeling is everything was saved for the end, and it made the end very good, but I think as a result, it made parts of the middle of the show a little bit, inconsequential.
My favorite part was when Bronson Reed took Roman Reigns' shoes again. I think the camera missed it because by the end of it, we just saw him with the new shoes, and I'm like, wait, those are Roman's shoes. Is it weird that now I kind of want him, not just to always steal Roman's shoes, I just want him to steal anybody's shoes. Like, someone said when he took out CM Punk, imagine had he taken CM Punk's shoes too. Like, he's just taking people's shoes, like, it's his victim. You know how when they have, like, murderers, they go out there and they always like take something from the victim? That's Bronson Reed, except for the crazy foot fetish, apparently.
He needs to tie every pair of shoes together, and it's gonna be like this giant chain link of all the shoes that he's taken from his victims. I'm here for it. Sure, it's a bit goofy and wacky, but it's happened more than once now. Now it's a trend. You can't just stop now. You gotta keep going for the shoes. And I know Roman Reigns got taste. Those are some expensive shoes. If he wants to make a little bit of extra money on top of his WWE downside, selling those shoes, that's the way to go.
This is his retirement fund right here. That's what Bronson Reed is doing. He's like, I don't trust WWE. Let me make sure I get some shoes just in case. You never know. And now he even has a pretty nice, colorful collection. Some white shoes, some red shoes. It's all looking pretty good for Bronson Reed. I want to thank Infamous Raider Loco for his gifting 5 DWO memberships. Thank you so much, Frank. You're so giving on here. Thank you. We got Louis Rothel. Hey, Louis, good to see you again. He says, Bronson shoe thief greater than Mercedes belt collector. Hey, look, I've laughed way harder seeing Bronson take people's shoes. So I gotta shout out the homie Bronson. Plus, you guys know, I don't know if you know this, Tempest, but here at the DWO, we are the biggest. We are the Bronson Reed fan club. Like, we're the official fan club and everything. Like, we even got a graphic. Do you want to see our Bronson Reed graphic? Okay, let me pull it up. Hold on. 1 second. It's somewhere in here. I should have been ready. Had I promoted it, I should have mentioned it. Ah, crap. Hold on. Wait, I swear to God I have it. All right, here we go. Here's my Bronson Reed graphic. It's just a bunch of meat on the screen.
This is multi-purpose. This can be used for, like, any time a big man has a match in
Yes, I do. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, you need to do the Bronson Reed. He's going to get enough shoes that he's just going to be covered in shoes, and then someone's going to give him a German suplex, like Mercedes got German suplex, and all the shoes are going to go everywhere, and that one guy's going to animate all the Sonic rings going everywhere when the shoes go flying.
That's so funny. All right, we got Infamous Raider Loco who says that performance deserves new followers. So for those of you who missed it, I performed slow motion in a guitar country style right before the show. Tune into the watch along. Frank also gifted another 5 DWO memberships. Hell yeah, dude. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. We got Tracy WB who says, wow. Tracy was the one who we did the bet for the Seth Rollins thing. She says, wow, that was painful to watch, but you did it. I did it. That's all that matters. We got Cleveland here. It says, in regards to the burn Nikki Bella got, Denise tell her to DM me enough.
I'm gonna get back to my commentary. How'd you like that? I just got my solo win again. That's my second win now. Make sure you guys hit that like button, leave a comment. Now before I let the other podcaster talk, I'm gonna go back to my commentary. How you guys like that Fortnite? It said play again. Oh, I probably have to hold to the lobby. Alright, might as well do another match here. That was very good. That was awesome. That game went by pretty fast. It went by real quick. Let's do another one. Alright, so see how long I made this video. About 30 minutes long. Alright. Well, I think I talked about Monday Night Raw. I talked a little bit about SummerSlam. I talked about the matches on Raw. I might as well let y'all hear the podcasters. Alright.
Appear with her next week, be hotter than Becky and Seth, unless Asuka and Kyrie hit me up to make Io jealous. Hey, Sleaze Boy, shoot your shot, bro. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, man. Thank you, Sleaze Boy. Let's get into that right now because that was a hell of a moment, man. So Becky Lynch goes out there, right, and she's talking her shit. She's talking about being Intercontinental Champion, being the best, whatever. She's being Becky, right? And she starts talking about how she needs more competition and where's the competition. So at that point, all of the fans basically know, hey, somebody else is going to come out right now, but we didn't really know who that other person was going to be. It ended up being Nikki Bella. And they had like a pretty lengthy promo, right? And in the beginning, you're wondering like, like what's this going to be? We ended up getting...
I'm Ju. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Hero Cosmetics, and I founded the viral Mighty Patch. I was living in
That's all kayfabe, you know, not true. I mean, maybe it is, but, you know, for the sake of kayfabe, that's a storyline quote. But then Becky starts saying that, well, she arrived at that time because she was trying to rescue the women's division from Nikki Bella and her era. And I was there. I remember that. That's very much true. So that felt like that kind of, there's a little bit of like the reality kind of being woven into the storyline, which I enjoyed. I enjoyed that, like, hey, I remember that. That feels like someone telling the truth as opposed to just a little bit of kayfabe. Other than that, my one kind of gripe with this, and maybe it's just because I feel like we've seen it a lot, is I would really love a promo segment between, you know, top women like this to not devolve into just taking shots at their partners and, you got broken up with by this person and whatnot.
But Zap doesn't sting, though.
It worked. It worked for the crowd. So for the sake of that, I can't say that it wasn't successful tonight. But for my taste, I feel like every time someone's going to go out there and, like, do a dig at Seth Rollins and said, your wife's a bigger star than you, and something like that. I just feel like we really hit that dead horse a lot. And, you know, I feel like that goes both ways with Nikki Bella and with Becky Lynch. Like, that we've retread over that talking point a lot. I was much more interested in the kind of real life, you know, state of the women's division type thing that they were going for. But obviously we can see which one worked better for the live audience. So, again, personal taste.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those moments where you're just like, ouch, she's dead already, stop it, Becky, stop it. I thought she had already gotten her with the Happy Gilmore thing, because I thought, you know, that's a pretty rough thing, you know, for anybody to, you know, when you get casted in a movie or a TV show, it's a really big deal, and you feel so happy and so excited, and then for your moment to be cut, and then for it to be like the biggest Netflix movie ever. Tempest, you, me, and everybody here would be hella depressed if we got cut from the biggest movie of Netflix ever. We'd be depressed, right? So I felt like it was a sick burn already, but then the John Cena stuff, just threw it over the top. I feel like Becky right now is just, she's just, I feel like we say this a lot about Becky, that she's constantly on another level, but she's constantly peeling and peeling different layers to herself and what more she can do. And the new theme song, it gives her so much of that attitude, like, I'm coming down the ring, I'm the man, like, screw you all. That's the vibe that I'm getting from Becky, and I love it.
Yeah. I thought as
Thank you for the super chat. That means a lot. Hopefully y'all enjoy this video.
you were saying about Happy Gilmore getting your part cut, I was like, yeah, you know, she could have thrown that back that Seth Rollins had his part in Captain America earlier this year.
You're so right.
And I'm like, wait, no, I just said they shouldn't bring up their husbands and their wives and everything. But
Yeah, wait, what movie was it? It was the superhero movie, right?
Yeah, it was Captain America earlier this year.
You know what, though? I have a feeling that because I completely forgot about that, but you're right. But I have a feeling maybe that one might be a little bit more touchy, you know?
Yeah.
That's probably why they didn't go for it.
Hey,
Oh,
Seth
man, that's
Rollins
so
could have been in the
funny.
MCU. But as far as Becky Lynch goes, I totally agree, and it made me remember that another one of the talking points in this promo segment that didn't quite land with me, because I don't believe that it's like entirely truthful.
Alright. Now let me show you the other podcasters. I'm going to let them in the chat. Alright. We got Salamonster, who's also in. Hold on 1 second.
That was pretty much the focal point of tonight's Raw. So we knew that we were probably going to see some sort of a confrontation with Rollins and Punk and Roman, because Roman was scheduled to be in the building. It was reported that he was there earlier on in the day. So we knew that whatever they were going to do tonight on Monday Night Raw was going to involve probably all three of those guys. And then they wound up booking a championship match tonight in the main event, Seth Rollins versus LA Knight, and that's where I had a feeling we would see these guys run out. Now, as soon as that match was made tonight on Raw, I put up on social media, my question to you guys was, do you think that, and this is all hypothetical at this point because we don't know anything yet, but if Brock Lesnar were to face John Cena at Clash in Paris, something that I think WWE might do, and Paris, they might be a little bit different of a crowd. You know, if WWE wants to, you know, do their best to get Brock the best reaction, I think overseas and international crowds are always so hyped, so jacked, so energetic. I think they would probably find less boos over there for Brock, I think, than over here. So if they're going to book the match there, John Cena and Brock Lesnar, because if Brock Lesnar came back and F5 John Cena at the end of SummerSlam, I think we can all deduce that there's probably going to be a match here, right? So if they do that in Paris, I'm wondering if Seth Rollins even needs to defend the championship there. Obviously, he's got three big contenders staring him down right now. LA Knight, who beat him on Saturday night's main event, and then he got screwed over tonight in a disqualification. Also, CM Punk, who got cashed in on SummerSlam after winning the title. And then, of course, former multi-time world champion and icon Roman Reigns still needs to get him a piece of Seth Rollins as well. So you can make a case for all three of these guys to get championship matches. So I'm wondering if they're going to book a three-way, LA Knight, Punk, and Roman, with the winner getting a shot against Seth Rollins, or are they going to book maybe like an international incident style six-man? Remember that 1996 match that was 29 years ago last month? And it was Ahmed and Sean and Sid against Camp Cornette, right? So maybe it's Camp Rollins versus Punk, LA Knight, and Roman Reigns. And you can do that match in the opener, because as we know, Roman Reigns either opens or closes. And if you're going to have John Cena and Brock close Clash in Paris, then I seriously doubt Roman Reigns will get a one-on-one title match there, you know, against Rahiku.
Alright, let me show you Salamonster.
Just wants to be left alone. I think that's a interesting, like, character dynamic that they could explore, and either person could turn heel out of it. That, I think, is really interesting. Like, having that be able to go either way leads to so much more intrigue in the actual segments, because you will not know which way it's going to go. You know, I think that bit, a fantastic potential storyline that they can do.
The part that you mentioned about any of them turning heel and how if someone, think about it, if someone doesn't leave you alone, at some point you might crack. You might be like, I'm fed up already. You might snap. And I can see that happening with Lyra, where she finally goes, I freaking had it. You know, she has a moment where she just, that's it. She implodes. She's a mad woman suddenly. So I could see it happen.
The Barclays Center, and for the most part, a pretty boring episode of Raw. Until we got to the end, and I thought the closing angle on the show was good. It was a very good angle there. I just didn't think the rest of the show was all that interesting in terms of the stories that they did tell. It just was not. It was not a great Raw. But we did have a rare World Heavyweight Championship main event on the show. Seth Rollins, in his very first defense of the world title since cashing in his Money in the Bank on Saturday, put the title on the line against the man who I thought was going to Paris for a one-on-one match. The man who beat him on Saturday night's main event when the supposed injury happened. But he pinned him, that being LA Knight. Who else would make sense as the first man to step up and challenge for that title other than LA Knight, who actually has a win over Seth Rollins? And so not only did we get the match, but we didn't have to wait until Paris because Adam Pearce said that he was going to make the match official for tonight. And so that was our main event on the show. Now, of course, you know, Seth Rollins in his first defense of the World Heavyweight Championship wasn't losing that fucking title. So it was just a matter of what angle are they going to shoot? Are we going to see CM Punk run out there and go after Seth? Are we setting up maybe, I thought, for a new member added to this Rollins faction? Because the wrinkle was that Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker were barred from ringside. So they were not allowed out there for the match. And that had me thinking, okay, but he didn't say that nobody is allowed at ringside. He just said that those two men specifically are not allowed at ringside. And now I'm thinking, are they going to call somebody up from NXT? Is Drew McIntyre going to migrate over to Monday nights? Are they setting up for something like that at the very end of the show? And that was not the case. It did end with CM Punk attacking Seth Rollins. And so the match got basically thrown out. I don't even know, you know, these days in WWE, things that should be a disqualification, they will sometimes put them up on screen. They'll say no contest. Like when they put the scroll on the bottom of the screen, or you go on WWE.com and look at the results. So I don't know what they're going to call it. It was a disqualification. But CM Punk gets laid out, and yet again for the second night, made to look like a bitch at the hands of Seth Rollins. LA Knight laid out. And they made you think that that's how the show was going to go off the air until we hear Roman Reigns' music. And he comes out. And he attacks Seth's boys. He tries to go after Seth. Even Roman Reigns gets overwhelmed. And when the show is over, Roman Reigns is lying on the mat flat as a pancake because he gets not one, not two, but 3 tsunami splashes at the hands or the stomach of Bronson Reed. That is their way of seemingly writing him off television so that he can go film his role as Akuma for Street Fighter. But it made Seth's group look completely dominant, which is what you want because the man just won the World Heavyweight title. You know what would have made them look even more dominant? Is to have them beat Roman and Jay at SummerSlam. It's too bad that didn't happen. But remember what I said, you know, when I was going over the predictions and what might happen at SummerSlam, I said even if the babyfaces go over, what we should get on the following Monday show is an angle where they lay out Roman Reigns and send him off television for a while. And that's what they did. And if he's going away anyway, then it only makes sense that he go away at the hands of these guys. Put more heat on Seth's faction. So I wasn't really surprised that they did that. One thing that I thought was actually quite funny was, well, first of all, Jey Uso nowhere to be found. He just sort of left his cousin out there to die. Maybe he was so excited from his victory the other night that he celebrated a little too much. Maybe he yeeted himself and he's, you know, sleeping it off. I don't know, but he wasn't there. But what was funny was Bronson Reed, right, last week, stole Roman Reigns' sneakers right off his feet, tied them together, had them around his neck. The Shula Fala. That's how he showed up at SummerSlam. The Shula Fala. And I said during the review, I said, I hope this becomes a thing. I hope that this is not the end of the Shula Fala. Roman didn't take his sneakers back on Saturday. So sure enough, tonight, Bronson Reed shows up and the Shula Fala is still a thing. At the end of the show, he did it again. He stole the shoes, I think they were another pair of Jordans, these were red ones, right off of Roman's feet. He's just going to continue to do that. I want to see him collect like different colors off of this man's feet. He'll have a whole collection. This is his thing. People collect stamps, people collect comic books. He collects sneakers off the feet of Roman Reigns. So he has even more of Roman's personal collection for whatever his sick fetishes may be. And that is how Raw went off the air tonight. And that really was the highlight of the entire show. Now the question is, how long is Roman going to be gone for? Because you hear, he's going to write him off, right? Oh, he's written off television. And, that makes you think that he's going to be gone for maybe a couple months. I don't think he's going to be gone for very long filming this role. Cody Rhodes has a role in that movie as well. Remember, he's playing Guile. And Cody just won the WWE Championship last night. So I suspect that these guys are only going to have to miss a few weeks, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. I know they're filming down in Australia. So it's entirely possible that Roman is gone for the rest of the month until we get to Clash in Paris. And they could be setting up for a 6-man tag. We could get Roman, Punk, and LA Knight against Rollins, Breakker, and Bronson Reed. Or, my other thought, and this would make sense because you would want a championship match on that show, is that we end up getting a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship, Seth Rollins defending against CM Punk and LA Knight. LA Knight got fucked over by CM Punk tonight. That's going to be a segment on the show, I'm sure, next week, where LA Knight confronts CM Punk to basically say, hey, what the fuck? You screwed me out of the world title last week. And then they start going back and forth. So if Roman's not going to be back in time for that show, surely we'll end up with a triple threat match, and my guess is LA Knight is in there specifically to be the fall guy, so that Punk could lose again but not have to be pinned by Seth Rollins. That's why LA Knight would be in that match. So that's really the only question. Which one of those two matches are we going to end up getting? We had a segment on the show tonight also with Becky Lynch, fresh off her win over Lyra Valkyria, who can no longer challenge for the Intercontinental title so long as Becky is champion. It's time to move on. She comes out, and I'm watching this, and I have no idea who this next challenger is going to be. I mean, my thought would be Bayley. But other than her, I have no idea who's going to be coming out as the next challenger. And then we hear, you can look, but you can't touch. And out comes Nikki Bella. I say, oh no. Nikki Bella and Becky Lynch now are on a collision course. And they will be having, not official yet, but clearly they're going to be having an Intercontinental title match, possibly in Paris. They set that angle. And I'm watching this, and I'm like, oh god. And then we hit a certain point in the promo where Becky hit her with a line that was so cold you would never know that it's August. It was actually a great line. It got a great reaction from the crowd in Brooklyn. So Becky and Nikki was fine too in that segment, but Becky really, hit her with that line that kind of sold the entire promo and then left her laying. They did a show-long angle with Sheamus and Rusev. They wrestled again tonight. Still no resolution. Still no real winner between them. And then various segments aired throughout the entire show where people would be in the back, and all of a sudden the fight continues, and they're just fighting all over the place. So for all the airtime they got on the show tonight, I still feel like they're not getting a PLE match. They'll probably blow this off at a Raw match at some point. These two can't seem to buy their way onto a PLE. And then we had the unfortunate update. The man who lost the World Heavyweight Championship, well, I guess there were two men who lost, but the ring general, Gunther, no longer the World Heavyweight Champion, not on the show tonight, but we did get a medical update on his status. And the rumor going into the show, and I think it was Dave Meltzer who mentioned this, is that Gunther has some sort of nose or nasal injury and he may need time off. And sure enough, the report tonight was, and this is what they're calling it, and this may be legit, but with these injuries they announce on TV, you never know. But the update from Michael Cole was, it is a septal hematoma and an orbital blowout fracture. And they showed highlights of him bleeding from SummerSlam. He had an injury coming into that show. Everything else is just the work. But he is hurt. And I don't know if he's going to need surgery or not, but he's going to be out for a while. And you know what? It's just as well. Because right now what they're trying to do is establish Seth Rollins as the dominant champion on Raw. And I really don't see a place right now for Gunther that really works. Because I to see him down, like pushed down to the middle of the card, it's like, well, then who does he work with? And there's nobody at the moment that really stands out to me. I think the best thing for him would be for him to disappear for a few months. And then come back fresh and healthy, and hopefully there will be an opportunity to slot him into a high position on the show, even if it's not for the championship. So that's what I'm hoping for. But it'll suck not having him around because he's one of the best in the entire company. I fucking love that guy. So not having him on the show hurts the show. But again, it's just, he had his run as the champion. This recent run was not that long. But he's been all over the show now for the entire year. So giving him a couple months off is not the worst thing in the world. And then there was Brock Lesnar. Now, anybody wondering if Brock Lesnar was going to be on the show tonight, the answer is no. Because Brock Lesnar is back for John Cena. And John Cena is on SmackDown. So Cena will be on SmackDown in Montreal this Friday. They did announce that Cody will be there as well. They actually said nothing about Brock Lesnar being on the show on Friday night, so I don't know that he'll be there. John Cena obviously will address him in some way. So unless you've been living under a rock, you know that Brock Lesnar made his very surprise return at the end of SummerSlam last night. And he came out and he attacked John Cena. He laid him out with an F5. So the update that we got tonight from Michael Cole, there's been questions about how this all came about. When did this all come about? When and how was the decision made? What they told us on TV tonight was, and I was curious to see how they would explain this, because there were a lot of people throwing all kinds of theories around about, oh, well, this is tied into this, and this tied into The Rock, and all this stuff, right? How are they going to explain this? Why is he back? Why is he attacking John Cena? There was a very brief period of time later in the show where Michael Cole, they had the announcers on camera, and Michael Cole said that he sat down earlier today with Nick Khan and Triple H, and he asked them the simple question, when was it decided that Brock Lesnar would return to WWE? They told him that they reached out to Brock a few weeks ago and said, it's time for you to come home. And in response to that, Brock Lesnar said, let's do it. And here we are. That's it. There you go. That's the explanation, or at least the television explanation. So for all the people, all day long, going back to last night, who were coming up with all kinds of wacky theories about how The Rock sent him, right? They're still hung up on The Rock being involved here. The Rock sent Brock. It's the only thing that makes sense because John Cena went back to being a babyface and he said horrible things about The Rock on TV last week without naming him. And this is The Rock's revenge, for him doing that and him losing the championship. It has nothing to do with The Rock. They simply said, we went to Brock and said, come on home. And Brock said, pay me and I'll come home. And he's home. So there you go. Doesn't get any lazier than that. I mean, they could have at least tried to come up with some kind of a storyline explanation for it. I mean, the fucking guy's back. Whether you want him back or not, he's back. So they took the easy route when it came to explaining that whole situation. And again, Cena will be on SmackDown Friday night to explain the entire situation. And as far as Brock is concerned, we'll talk more about that, on the podcast, and I'm sure there'll be the more that comes out about Brock Lesnar being back in WWE. But again, he was not on the show tonight, so he had nothing to do with Monday Night Raw. We, however, will talk about Monday Night Raw and all that went into this show tonight, because this is your Raw on Netflix review. It is Monday. It is August 4th, 2025. I am the Solid Monster. Thank you for joining me on a Monday night. Like and subscribe.
Do you have $100? Because I'm looking for 2,000 believers who are willing to trade $100 for a house and...
Or don't. Why has Triple H been so... It's not the most offensive name. It's not completely terrible. I'm sure we'll get used to it. I'm hoping that they've learned their lesson with this group and him now as the champion again, which I presume is going to be the last time we get a champion, at least until WrestleMania in Las Vegas next year. Rollins started the show, and basically we got, finally, a name for the group. Rollins had not really said, this is the name of our new group. This new group that has been slowly forming since WrestleMania. He didn't outwardly say this is the name, but earlier in the week, WWE, or actually not earlier in the week, but this weekend before SummerSlam, WWE trademarked the Vision. And that only meant one thing. I mean, he calls himself the Visionary. So I just put the pieces together and said to myself, well, that seems like the faction name for Seth Rollins' new group here. So we're going to run with that. Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and Paul Heyman as the Oracle are now known on Raw as the Vision. Now, I don't know if they need prescription glasses, if they should go to fucking Warby Parker. I don't know. You guys can have fun with that, but it's not the most offensive name. It's not completely terrible. I'm sure we'll get used to it. At least it gives them a name instead of calling them the Bronze and Seth Rollins. The Vision. The Vision. This is his vision. I guess they wanted to wait until after he won the World Championship to at least give us a glimpse into the name of the group. There you go. Do with that as you wish. The Vision. LA Knight. I know a lot of people are looking at this and saying, well, the first person that should be feuding with Rollins after what he did and fooled us all with the fake injury is LA Knight. I didn't really have a worry about what the next program was going to be. I had a pretty strong intuition that LA Knight would show up tonight and have something to say, being that Rollins kind of did what he did with the injury and faked the injury. Plus, LA Knight, he said it tonight as well. He did pin Seth Rollins, so he has a victory over Seth Rollins on Saturday night's main event. There was no doubt in my mind that LA Knight was going to be the next in line for a championship match. I didn't know if it was going to happen tonight or sometime later in the month on Raw, or maybe they save it for Clash in Paris. WWE set up the program between LA Knight and Seth Rollins tonight in the main event for the World Heavyweight Championship. Really nothing special between them. Very standard, run-of-the-mill TV main event, but the World Championship was on the line, and it's always nice because we don't see it a lot. We don't see it all that often. That the World Heavyweight Championship is on the line on Monday Night Raw in the main event. It always feels good when the championship is on the line. We don't get that a lot. The thing is, during the intro, during the opening segment, Adam Pearce came out because Seth Rollins told LA Knight no. LA Knight wanted to wrestle tonight. He wanted a shot tonight in Brooklyn. Rollins told him no. Adam Pearce comes on out and basically overrides Rollins' no and says, oh, yes, we're getting a championship match. And you want to fucking pull your stunt that you did on Saturday. Here's another one for you. Your boys are banned from ringside. So Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed were banned from ringside. Paul Heyman was allowed. So obviously that was going to play into the main event and the outcome of the match. Whatever that meant. As we were watching the open of the show, I figured CM Punk would show up, Roman Reigns would show up, maybe we would get a new member in the group. Maybe we would get that fourth man. Being that everybody else was banned from ringside, maybe they would introduce a fourth man to Seth Rollins' group. You see, this is the type of stuff that I was looking for. This is the type of stuff, the sense of urgency that WWE needed on this show. I just felt like they came out of SummerSlam, and the moments that they made at SummerSlam at MetLife, they came into the show with no real sense of urgency. Because they realized and they figured, well, we got 4 weeks before we get to Clash in Paris. It's more than enough time to put together a solid 5-6 match card for Clash in Paris. When we got to the main event, like I said, the standard run-of-the-mill TV main event on a WWE television show, nothing super special. They didn't go out there and burn the house down or anything. CM Punk showed up. Obviously ruined LA Knight's chances of winning the World Heavyweight Championship. I don't think anybody was watching this show pushing for LA Knight to win the championship. It was just never going to happen. And if you were pushing LA Knight, yeah, let's pull the trigger. Let's have LA Knight win the World Heavyweight Championship here on Monday Night Raw. Yes, that would be the worst decision you could possibly come up with. Yes, let's run this angle where he just trolled everybody by going on with a fake injury for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, only to take the belt off of him after he just pulled off the ruse of the century. Yeah, that really makes a lot of sense. No. Now, LA Knight is not winning the World Heavyweight Championship. He's not winning the World Heavyweight Championship anytime this year. And he's not winning the World Heavyweight Championship anytime soon thereafter that. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news for everybody. He's not next. He's lucky to be where he is. Accept it or don't. And I like LA Knight. This is coming from an LA Knight guy. LA Knight's not going to be a world champion. They only moved him over to Raw because he's the next best thing to feud with a heel Seth Rollins. Deal with it. Sorry if you don't like the truth. Sorry if I'm a little bit too harsh. But there's always the Intercontinental Championship. CM Punk ruined the main event. Then the boys come out, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed. They're out there. They lay waste to Punk and LA Knight. Show goes off the air, the little trademark logo, which is Triple H's specialty, hits the bottom of the screen. And then we get Roman Reigns coming out as the show's about to go off the air. We got a little bit more of an overrun. Roman Reigns takes out the Vision. He gets into the ring. He's trying to save CM Punk and LA Knight. He gets laid out. They lay waste to him. Braun Breaker spears him in half. And Bronson Reed, 3 tsunamis on Roman Reigns. All while, again, stealing his Jordans. So now this is two pairs of sneakers that the Shula Fala now contains. The tribal thief has confiscated another pair of shoes. The Vision laid waste to all the baby faces. That was the best part of the show. Boring, but it was the best part of the show. Why do I say boring? A lot of people love to accept mediocrity, man. How many times are we going to see the same fucking ending every single week? If we don't get it with the Bloodline or
Exactly.
the MFTs on Friday Night SmackDown, we get it with the Vision on Monday Night Raw. They laid waste to Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and now LA Knight. Is there anything new, chat? Is there anything refreshing, chat? Is there anything groundbreaking, chat? No, it's the same shit. It's literally the same ending that they write into the show every single week. You can sit there and enjoy it. I'm not going to enjoy it. Because it's not creative. It's boring. It doesn't give me a sense of urgency. It doesn't give me a sense of excitement. It doesn't give me a sense of anything. It's just the same fucking thing that we saw the week before that, the week before that, the week before that. It's their go-home. It's their tried and true. How do we finish this show? Let's have a beatdown. If it's not tsunamis, it's a spear. If it's not a spear, if it's not a spear, it's a tsunami. If it's not either one of them, let's put them through the fucking table. Or the barricade. It's the same thing over and over again, man. So I apologize if you don't like that I didn't like the show. I don't really give a fuck. How many writers do they got on this fucking writing team? You can't come up with anything a little bit more creative? But I guess they forwarded story. That's all that matters. How you get there is just as important. Where do we go from here? Clearly Rollins has a lot of targets. Or I should say, a lot of people are targeting Seth Rollins. Roman Reigns wants a piece of Seth Rollins. CM Punk wants a piece of Seth Rollins, obviously. LA Knight wants a piece of Seth Rollins and now CM Punk because CM Punk didn't give a fuck about LA Knight. CM Punk ruined LA Knight's chances. That makes three. Three baby faces going after Seth Rollins. I don't know when we're going to get all those matches. But I like the fact that there are opponents and that there's an uphill battle for Seth Rollins to take over Monday Night Raw and that the babyfaces aren't going to stand for this shit. And they're credible names that I actually like. That's great. One thing at a time, though. Where are we going into Clash of Paris? A couple of different ways we could look at this. Clearly, the way that I looked at it, Roman Reigns got written off television. The first thing that I thought of is, I heard that Roman Reigns is not going to be filming until September. That was the last report by Fightful. So I put out, as soon as Monday Night Raw went off the air, looks like we could be setting up for a 6-man international warfare. Could be 6, could be 8. We don't know. Literally in the next 4 weeks, Rollins could add another member. And then the babyfaces just equalize that with Jey Uso. So that's the first thing that I thought of. With the report that Fightful put out, that Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes aren't filming Street Fighter until September. Which, you know, all the people on Twitter who think they're correct all the time, oh, but JD is filming in August. No, it's September. September. Sorry, you're incorrect once again. So yes, Roman Reigns is very much going to be a part of television, potentially going into Paris. We could be looking at a 6-man tag team match. Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and LA Knight versus Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed. International warfare. Got that Canadian Stampede type vibe going on. Not really, because that was the Hart Foundation. That was their home turf, and they were battling the anti-Canadians. I'd like to see something like that. I think the energy in Paris would be fucking unbelievable. WWE could add Jey Uso to the mix, while adding a 4th member to Rollins' group, whoever that may be. Rumor is Ethan Page is getting ready for a call-up. Rumor is Ricky Starks, Ricky Saints, is getting ready for a call-up. They may add Ilya Dragunov to the mix. I'm hearing rumblings that he is due to come back. We don't know. Maybe they add Carmelo Hayes. Maybe he moves over to Monday Night Raw. That would be something, right? Maybe they add Drew McIntyre. A list of names that would fit in that group perfectly. We just don't know who or when that will happen. WWE clearly could do Rollins versus Punk versus LA Knight. And they wrote Roman Reigns off TV. I just don't see them going into Paris internationally for the first time all year. The only time they'll be in Paris all year, and not have Roman Reigns on the show. Not have Jey Uso on the show. I just find that to be a little ridiculous. Triple threat match for the World's Heavyweight Championship. Rollins, Punk, LA Knight. I mean, I don't really get a sense that is the direction, but I mean, it's certainly on the table. They could do the six-man tag team match without Roman Reigns, and what they did tonight was actually did write him off TV. And they just put Jey Uso in there and have the six-man tag. Have it be a six-man tag team match. Uso, Punk, and LA Knight versus Rollins, Breaker, and Bronson Reed. So those are the options for Clash in Paris. That's what WWE is telling you. Now, I'm looking forward to the months after Clash in Paris. Because we all know Rollins is not losing the World Heavyweight Championship. This would be a solid show where Rollins can go in there and not have to worry. And WWE Creative can have Rollins go into the show not having to worry about him defending the championship. He can go into Clash in Paris, have this multi-man match, warfare between the babyfaces and this new faction, the Visionary, right? Or the Vision. Come out of Clash in Paris, the next show, I think we got a Saturday night's main event. Then we maybe do a major match at Saturday night's main event for the World Heavyweight Championship. That ends in a fuck finish. Maybe we get a triple threat match in Perth. Maybe we get Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins in Perth. And then obviously we get another fuck finish. WWE is obviously slow burning this till Survivor Series. This is going to be the War Games situation. What you're watching right now is WWE long-term book Survivor Series. Whoever the fourth man's going to be, I don't know. There will be a fourth man between now and Survivor Series. That is my prediction. Who it's going to be, I don't know. But then you'll get Roman Reigns, you'll get Jey Uso, you may get Jimmy Uso, you may get CM Punk and LA Knight all on the same team. There was a rumor that Jimmy Uso may be coming to Monday Night Raw as well. And then they would go up against the Vision. We may get 2 new members. Rollins may add 2 new members to the group. 5 on 5. That's your War Game situation coming out of Monday Night Raw. And then whatever the women's is, which, you know, I've been very vocal about it. If you don't need to do a War Games match, then don't do it. Don't do it. You're doing it for the sake of doing it because you got to do one for the men and one for the women, and they both have to have a War Games. No. There really is no tension between factions in the women's division. This is building towards War Games. Anybody can see that. So I like that Monday Night Raw has a solid nucleus at the top of the card. Rollins is a champ. LA Knight's chasing. CM Punk is chasing. Roman Reigns is chasing. The option for a third, or a fourth rather, and a fifth man on Rollins' team, the Vision. Who's going to align with the babyfaces? Is it going to be the Usos getting back together? There's a lot going on there. I like that. Other than that, on this show, and I mean this wholeheartedly, there wasn't much of anything to truly care about on this show. There was a rematch for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. They once again defended their newly won championships against the former champions who they beat on Saturday, the Judgment Day, Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. I thought what they did here tonight in ring was better than what they did at SummerSlam. Rusev and Sheamus once again, seemingly, they did a storyline throughout the entire show where they beat the shit out of each other outside the ring, in the back again. It involves Sami, Zayn. So they play that up, and more than likely we're leading to a fourth match. We may again be getting an unofficial best of 7 series. They won't tell you that, but it looks like we're getting an unofficial best of 7 series, just like they did with I don't know where it leads. Maybe they end up being a team, which I had hoped for. I didn't really get that sense coming out of this show tonight. They're very much not a team yet. Anyway, Becky Lynch started a new program. She's going to be defending the Intercontinental Championship against Nikki Bella. This is what they have come up with. Nikki Bella had made a case that she wanted to wrestle for the World Championship going into Paris, coming out of Evolution. She didn't win the Battle Royal, obviously. That went to Stephanie Vaquer. So now she's going after the Intercontinental Championship. Nice consolation prize, I guess, if you're Nikki Bella. I don't know who asked for that. I don't know who's interested in that. Knowing Becky Lynch, hopefully she can bring Nikki Bella to a decent match. Because I'll tell you right now, I have zero interest in seeing Nikki Bella wrestle, period, or for a championship. I don't mind that she's back, but I gotta be honest with you, she looks completely out of place in this division with this talent. You look at Nikki Bella, you see Nikki Bella, you hear from Nikki Bella, it just sounds like an era of old. She does not fit in the current crop of WWE women. So I'm sorry, I'm not interested in Becky versus Nikki Bella. That doesn't really do anything to excite me. And apparently, the Grande Americano Legion is growing. I don't know where they're coming from. I don't know how they're mutating. We got one Grande Americano. The real one is out injured. Now we got an imposter, who's Ludwig Kaiser. But then we got another last week, and then this week we got a third Americano. And Corey Graves stole my line from last week. I hope he's watching the show. We got a tall, a grande, and a venti Americano. What are we doing and why? Who are they, where are they coming from, and what is their plan? Does this have any direction? Or is this one of those storylines that WWE is getting a joke out of, a laugh out of, and just doing it on television with no direction whatsoever, just to pop a laugh in Gorilla? I don't know. Yes. Was that Tyler Bate? Was today's Americano Tyler Bate? Bro, what are we doing, man? What the fuck are we doing? He did look a little shorter than the dude last week, which was apparently Pete Dunne. I don't know, man. I don't know where we're going with this, Starbucks fucking faction that's forming here. We'll talk about it. They did mention Brock Lesnar tonight. Brock Lesnar was not on the show. I did not realize before tweeting this afternoon that WWE had SmackDown taking place in Canada this Friday, so there is a likelihood that we could be seeing Brock Lesnar on Friday. But I do know that John Cena is on Friday, Cody Rhodes is on Friday, and Brock Lesnar, who attacked John Cena at the end of SummerSlam, we're going to need a reason. I pray to God that this is not like Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes, where they never gave us a fucking reason as to why Brock Lesnar attacked Cody Rhodes and seemingly feuded for months with no explanation. I would love an explanation as to why he's back and why he's now targeting John Cena. Monday Night Raw after SummerSlam was a fucking dud. Sure, they forwarded stories. Sure, they pushed into Clash in Paris. Was any of it really exciting coming out of SummerSlam? Everything felt flat. Everything. Outside the main event stuff, which even that felt same old shit. We'll talk about it. We'll dive into it. We'll have fun tonight. And I thank you guys very much for joining me here on the podcast. This is your Monday Night Raw post show for August 4th, 2025. I'm your host, JD from New York. You guys killed it. You guys killed it this weekend, man. Between X and YouTube, the SummerSlam post shows did over 160,000 views. We stream on X, we stream on YouTube. You guys fucking killed it, man. It was, without question, the biggest SummerSlam weekend that the channel has ever seen. And I love when we get into a weekend like this. I look back at last year, man, you guys blew the numbers completely out of the water. Now, granted, last year was a one-night SummerSlam. Tonight, we're having Monday Night Raw. But looking back at the SummerSlam stuff last year, it was a one-night SummerSlam. This weekend was a two-night SummerSlam. You guys fucking killed it, man. You guys fucking killed it. Thank you very much. I know a lot's being said about Brock Lesnar. I know a lot of people are happy that Brock Lesnar's back. I know a lot of people are happy that Brock Lesnar's not back. WWE legal cleared Brock Lesnar 4 days ago. They made mention of it tonight on Monday Night Raw. Triple H and Nick Khan went to Brock Lesnar, asked him if he wanted to come back. He said sure. And they started planning his return. I don't know why you need to complain anymore. WWE Legal cleared him to wrestle. That's all you need. You can sit there and continue to embarrass yourself. You can sit there and chime in how you wish on Brock Lesnar. Is he a fucking weirdo? Yes. Is he sick? Yes. Is his behavior fucking bizarre? Yes. I don't give a fuck what he does, who he wrestles, or where he shows up. I said it last night, I'll say it again. They don't need Brock Lesnar. They're doing fine without Brock Lesnar. For all the people
That night, as he was brushing his teeth, there they were. Jasper tag spots. So I think she told Raquel to tag Roxanne, like, tag, tag. And then in the other corner, she's telling Charlotte to tag Alexa. Tag her, tag Alexa, tag Alexa. Like, clear as day. Is this what they do every week? People forget to make the tag. Yeah, the referee has to tell you what to do. So, just clear as day calling out those spots, because it was just stone cold silent for a good chunk of this match here. Not as good as their SummerSlam match either. It was fine. It was a fine match, but the SummerSlam match, I had more fun with that than I did with this one. Io Sky was backstage talking with Asuka and Kairi Sane when Rhea Ripley interrupted, and she said, Io, can I have a word with you? So this was the second time that Asuka has made a snide, I took it as kind of a snide comment, about Io, oh, you're gonna go off to talk to your friend. So Ripley said she heard Io went to Adam Pearce and asked for a match for the Women's World Championship. And Io pointed out that I wasn't the one who got pinned at SummerSlam. So Ripley said there's nothing she would like to do more than finally be able to beat Io and take the title from her. Ripley went to go leave. Io stopped her and told her, "You will never beat me." And she smiled in her face. This is one of those, consistent things now on the show, where Io Sky is always reminding Rhea Ripley, you've never beaten me, and you are never going to beat me. And then she smiles in her face, and she walks away. I enjoy that. I greatly enjoy, and it's a fact, too. Rhea has never beaten Io Sky. But how long before Asuka suggests that Io go tag up with your friend, and we get a tag team match? Rhea Ripley and Io Sky against Asuka and Kairi Sane, right? It's got to be coming. I don't know when, but I think... I mean, look, Rhea Ripley, I don't believe, is going to be challenging for that championship again until October. That's when they go to Australia. There she is. No, that's the other Bella. But that's when they go to Australia. So, in the meantime, it's like, well, what do you do, right? What do you do with Rhea Ripley? If she's not going to be challenging for the title right away, you want to get her on the show. I can see them doing that tag match on, like, a Clash in Paris. Sure. Why not? Elsewhere backstage, Bayley was looking for Lyra Valkyria. She was looking to apologize to her after what happened at SummerSlam. She found her, and Lyra was in no mood to hear her excuses. Lyra said she screwed things up for Bayley, who now screwed things up for her. Valkyria said that they're not good for one another. She said that we're not friends, but we're not enemies. And she told Bayley to stay out of her life forever. Now, for a second there, she also made this comment that she has to kind of get out of the Bayley vortex. And for a moment there, I thought she was about to tell Bayley that I went to Adam Pearce to request a trade to SmackDown, and they were going to move her to the other show. But they stopped short of doing that. After this, it was Dominic Mysterio against Dragon Lee. They promoted the fact that both men are part of the four-way match for the AAA Mega Championship at Triple Mania, which is a week from Saturday. They're 2 of the 4 in that match. Mysterio came down to the ring, and as soon as Dom came down, they went to a commercial. When they came back from commercial, Michael Cole said that next year's SummerSlam in Minneapolis was sure to be fire. Which is not something that I want to hear Michael Cole say ever again. Like, he needs to not do that. So Dragon Lee wasted no time in sending Mysterio outside, dragging him back in and pummeling him in the corner. Dom made a comeback, hit a DDT on the apron as the show went to another commercial. Late in the match, El Grande Americano appeared. And then another Grande Americano appeared. And then a third Grande Americano appeared. Boy, they were increasing fast. So that was enough of a distraction for Mysterio to get a shot in on Dragon Lee from...
Alright. Think I made this video long enough. I made my live stream long enough. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel. I played enough Fortnite. I talked about Monday Night Raw. I talked about WWE. So I will see y'all later. I'm glad I got a win on Fortnite. I'm getting good at playing these solo things here on Fortnite. But well, I'm gonna end the video. I will do another live. I will do a live stream for Friday Night SmackDown this Friday. I will make more NBA 2K17 videos.